You want to do timing chains, 3 liter in a 2016 LR4. This goes for any 3 liter or 5 liter supercharged NA, it doesn't really matter. You've got your variators off or phasers, all the guide rails, take all that off, replace all your timing components. And first thing we're going to do is lock the cams in and lock the crank in. I've already got my crank locked. As you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a Woodruff key right here. You want that at the 6 o'clock position. And then you'll lock your crank in where the crank lock or crank sensor is on the back of the engine. But I'll show you what the cams are supposed to look like and where the cam locks go. I always put the phaser bolts in and use a pry bar to twist them so I can get it to line up. But first thing, it's kind of hard to tell, but there is a barcode on the bottom of the cam. You want that facing down. So as I say, barcode's down, and if it's not lined up centered with the cam cap, you just use a pry bar and twist or twisting. If it's hard to line them both up at the same time because they'll try to move back on you, just get one of them lined up, slide the cam lock in, and then as it's sitting in the back, you'll line that one up too and just slide it in. So once you get your lock in, you're gonna see it's not flat. It should be a straight line going across on the back there. Same for this side, which is really close, but you're gonna want to straighten that up, and I'll show you what it looks like perfectly flat, and then tighten these down, and then you repeat that on the other side as well. As you can see, those are perfectly flat. And on this side, sometimes they don't flatten out all the way, but as long as they're even all the way across, you're gonna be good. Once your cams are locked, we can take the bolts out for the phaser. Put all of our guide rail and tensioners back. I start putting these back first, it just makes it a little bit easier. And then you put this one back, put your tensioners back in there. The guide rail, the plastic guide rail here torques to 12 Newton meters. Both those will. This will torque to 25 Newton meters. And then these torque to 12 as well. So once you get all that torqued, we'll go ahead and slide the chains and phasers on there. You've got 3 marks. These 2 up here, the short ones are going to be for the phasers. Then you've got one down here for the guide rail. Depending on what brand you get, they're going to be different colors. But I like to go ahead and just slide them on there before I put the phasers on there. For me, it's easier. It don't have to be perfect, but it's got to be close. Once you got those set up, I like to do the exhaust first. It just makes it easier. And you got 3 holes. Just make sure it lines up with the cam when it's going back on. Some of them had different marks. That's the mark you want the chain to be on the exhaust side. And once you get that in place, you can kind of move the phaser and the chain at the same time to line up the mark down here on the guide rail. Slide the intake on. The intake on the middle part right here, you've got this mark. And make sure, if you take these off, make sure you label them. have those mixed up. I put the passenger side on the driver's side, but I swapped it out. But a good way to know if you're lined up, the bolts will only go in if it's in the right spot. So as long as you can twist those in a little bit, you're good. But once you put those bolts in, you just want to check your marks one more time. We're going to repeat it for this side, and then I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Everything lined up. So you got your mark there, another one there, one here, one there, and then on this guide rail it's going to look a little off, but it's just going to be right above it there. A lot of them look different, but this one, right on it. It's kind of hard to see the mark. But what I like to do is I take my T40 and I run these in until they're flush against the cam, back it off a little bit, but get them all right up against it. And do that on all of them. And then it's time to release the tensioners, which I'll show you, and then we'll torque it. Talking about, you'll think they're all the way back, and then they go back a little bit farther, and then you just break it back loose. And you want to do that with all four. So it's a good time. Once you do that, always check your marks twice, 3, 4 times. You just don't want to have to do this again. But you don't want them tight. You just want the phasers to be pushed all the way back. Make sure they're still loose, but close enough to where you can tighten it without having to struggle while you're torquing it. If you have 2 people doing this, it makes it easier. Everything. Go ahead and pull your release pin. Make sure the chains are tight. Make sure they come out. If you're reusing tensioners, there's a special way you have to reset them. So if it didn't pop out all the way and you reused your tensioner, just ask me, I can tell you how to do it. Now we're gonna get our tools ready so we can go ahead and torque this. Tool installed on here. You want to make sure this bolt is out so you can move this out of the way. I have this set up for 35 Newton meters. I have a 3/8, so I have to get an adapter on it. Just want to go ahead and get this ready. As you torque this, your phaser to 35, you want to tighten all these down. Now, that should hold it in place until you're ready to torque the actual bolts. Now we're going to torque the phaser bolts 32 Newton meters. Hold pressure on your tool here while you do it. If you're not holding pressure on that, it's going to put the slack on the wrong side of the chain. You don't want any slack here. You want all your slack to be on this side. You can see it's got a little slack. This one is extremely tight, and that's what you want. If you did it right, this will be extremely tight as well. Once again, 35 Newton meters, and then tighten all these down, and then we'll torque the bolts. Once again, we'll tighten the bolts to 32 as we're holding pressure on the tool. Once again, check all the timing marks. Make sure they're all lined up. Remember, this one's going to be off just by a little bit. Well, while we're here, check the cams again. Still perfectly flat. The other side, and then you got your vehicle time. This one is a 3 liter, but the 5 liter NA, 3 liter supercharged, and 5 liter supercharged are the exact same timing setup. You do everything the exact same way.